Hello everyone, it's Duskfire6, and today I'm going to be finishing Let the Crystals Break the Rise of Sombra. I figured I've left you guys in the dark long enough, and honestly, I've been procrastinating for way too long, and I need to get this shit done. So, real quick, after this, a real quick message. After Let the Crystals Break, because this is a relatively dark fic, I don't know. I'm gonna go to a comedy fic by, Rainbow Bob, I believe it is. Yeah, Rainbow Bob. And the fic is called Magikarp is the Best Pokemon, where Magikarp gets blasted into Equestria via a godlike Dragonite. That's all I'm gonna say. So, without further ado, let's get into it, because, oh my god, I fucking love this fic.
Forget what you know. Just makes my dreams your nightmares. There's no getting out of here. Close your eyes for the last time. You're blood to pay for your crimes. Try to forget what you've seen. The night belongs
to Sombra's hooves clacked loudly against the cobblestone streets as he walked into the alley, a saddlebag slung over his back. The cloth container was bulging with objects of varying sizes, and would have looked suspicious to any pony, had any pony been around to see it. "It will start tonight," he whispered as he set his pack down. He opened it and removed a small cylinder made of curved steel. He placed the canister on the ground and shot a bolt of magic at it. Slowly, it began to glow a deep red and pulsed slightly. "You are starting something new, doing something no pony has ever thought to do, or, was never brave enough to do." Sombra did not reply to the voice as he left the alley and crossed the street, going straight into another, where he placed a second cylinder and cast the same spell at it. He walked out and suddenly found himself facing a scenario he never thought he would be in. "What are you doing?" the crystal guard asked, staring at him suspiciously. "Oh, Sombra began. "I was just, looking for some rodents." "And why would you need to see rodents?" the guard asked. "I'm interested in them," the unicorn replied, rubbing his hoof behind his head nervously. "Yeah?" "It's true. I was looking for them so I could place my little scanning canisters that will pick up information about them. You can go see if you want." Sombra nearly bit his tongue in the middle of that sentence. "Oh, Celestia," he thought to himself. "I just lied to a royal guard. If any pony finds out about that..." Lying to figures of authority while under question was considered one of the most lonely crimes in the Empire, and Sombra had just stooped to that height. But apparently, stabbing... Okay, if this is the first video you are watching by me, go watch part 2, because crazy little shit killed his mother. And, yeah. Apparently, he's more worried about lying to a guard while under question than killing his mother, and someone ends up finding out about it. I don't know. "Alright," the guard responded, taking a step into the alley. Sombra almost tried to stop him, but fought the urge to do so and followed him. The guard was standing by the metal cylinder, eyeing it with an odd look. "This is a weird scanner," he said. "It's a piece of steel that I cast a sentry enchantment on," Sombra said, the life flowing easily through his lips. "It took a while to learn the spell. It's very difficult, but I managed." "Very different," the guard said before standing. "Never in my life have I seen such an odd device. Reminds me of a few weapons back in the First Rebellion. This one doesn't have the same aura about it. Feels perfectly safe to me." Sombra practically jumped with joy, but kept it to a small hop when the guard's back was turned. "You continue on your way," the crystal pony told him. "Have a good night." The black unicorn started to rejoice silently when the guard left, amazed at his stroke of luck. "I can't believe that guard was so stupid," he thought. He didn't even bother to scan the device or anything. He must be new or just of the lower class, I guess. "Place the..." The voice yells at him here. "Place the rest!" The voice boomed out. Sombra complied quickly, placing the canisters in several more alleys, casting a spell on them. "Soon," he said quietly, Soon I will be ready to begin. 3 days later, the funeral. Sombra watched with fake tears as the casket was lowered into the grave, internally smiling at such a stroke of good luck. She could no longer get in my way. When the grave had to be covered with dirt, he stayed with a mortified expression for hours, seeming to be mourning— Damn it, Rainbow! Seeming to be mourning his loss instead of thinking of his plans, which he was getting ready to enact. He hoped that his canisters had been picked up by some pony, for if they still remained in the alleys, his treachery would fall, and he would have to find another way. He must be devastated. This voice came from some pony behind him, a mare. I know. The next voice was from another, a stallion. Sombra turned and pretended that he was leaving, head down and shoulders slumped. In reality, he was checking the two ponies, who were the only ones left other than himself. Probably family, friends, and moms, he thought to himself. I don't know them. Right before he reached the gate, he paused. An insane thought filled his... Cut that out. An insane thought filled his brain, and he felt it racing past his common decency and common sense. No pony would know if I killed them here. He turned around to face them, his eyes turning green and irises becoming red. What are your names? He asked, putting on a pleasant smile. I am Red Dust, the mare said. Redstone Dust. I don't know. It's old. This is supposed to be in the Crystal Empire. Redstone. You know, Minecraft. And I am Fields, the stallion finished. Okay. Did you know my mom? Sombra asked them. Yes, Red Dust replied. I'm just gonna call her Redstone, fuck it. Yes, Redstone replied. We were very good friends. We met in the university. And it just so happened that we both moved to the same town when we graduated. Sombra's smile lost a bit of its pleasantry, becoming crooked and bent, something the two ponies failed to notice. You must be very distraught, Fields said. Yes, very, Sombra said. His voice completely swept away in psychotic throes. They looked at him and saw his eyes glowing brightly in the light. His pupils had become small pinpricks on his whites, drawing all the more reaction from the couple. Are you all right? Redstone asked. Oh, I'm fine, Sombra whispered in his menacing hiss. But you won't be. There was no sound as death was quickly delivered to the two, save for Sombra's heavy breathing, which cut through the silence like a knife. Fire, burn, fall. The next morning, couple murdered at funeral for a local shopkeeper. Sombra had a satanic smile across his face as he read this, feeling lucky that no pony else was up yet. Since his mother had died, Sombra had been sent to live in an orphanage in the capital, where he had quickly assumed control over the weaker ponies. He used his skill as a fire mage to threaten the younger unicorns and other races, and used his magical strength to win over his chronological superiors. Not bad. Yeah. We are now in territory where I haven't read yet, so this is a new experience for us all. He threw the paper down, hyperventilating. He laid back on his bed and looked up at the ceiling, relishing at the pleasure it had given him to read the headline and recall the event itself. He had slit their throats with fragments of crystal that he carried around in his jacket, and it had given him a rush he wished to feel again. So that's probably why he starts killing left and right. I don't have to stay here for much longer, he thought. Soon it would be time, and I could strike upon this empire and send it crumbling down. He heard a shuffling next to him and saw the pony on the bed next to him get up. The pony stole a quick glance over at him, fearful of what Sombra would do if he was awake. Sombra decided to let the pony do what it wanted, and it did nothing to stop it. Sombra closed his eyes and relaxed. He was soon asleep, still recalling the headline from that morning's newspaper. The day of initiation. Okay. Sombra's eyes snapped up in wide-eyed wonder. Today was the day the plan would begin, and the Empire would be saved. Oh, how I have waited for this moment. He got out of bed and went to the showers. He took a cold one to wake himself up, and stepped out, ready to complete his task. He waited into the room until every pony got up and went to take a shower or go to the bathroom, and then he did it. He cast the activation spell. His heart soared with glee. Every opponent would be distracted by the events he had just caused. That he would be able to sneak into the castle easily. Who else thinks that he ended up casting a spell to cause those canisters to explode and fragment like crazy? 5 minutes before the activation spell, fresco greens and stone. But, I mean, what do you think it does? Stone asked as he stared at the metal container with interest. It doesn't matter, Fresco said, kissing him on the cheek. What does matter is that you do what you said you were. Okay. Cranes had been standing beside the stone this whole time and looked at Fresco. The only mayor of the three. What about me? He asked in fake despair. You're not my boyfriend, she said, rolling her eyes. You're supposed to be going home, though. Your parents will start to worry. Like stones won't, he replied. He already told them he was staying over here. Besides, we need our alone time. Green sighed and went over to the door. Bye, he said. The other two just waved in response and left. He left and continued home. Now, Fresco said, okay, this is where that comes in. Well, since I'm the reader, and my house is starting to wake up, I'm going to skip this part and go on ahead over elsewhere. So, yeah. Well, that wasn't too much. You can read the fic yourself. There's some parts that I'm going to skip. Oh, hey, look at that. I'm, like, right at the end. It was then that the canister exploded, sending thousands of crystal shards, called it, everywhere, impaling them and killing them instantly. Across the Empire, every other canister did the same, killing dozens of ponies where they stood and injuring many more. Hundreds of royal guards showed up minutes later to help the victims that were still alive, along with medics from nearby hospitals in the castle itself. This left only half the guard at the castle protecting the king. That was just what Sombra needed. I'm going to have to stop at Chapter 5 here because, Chapter 6 has a lot of yelling, and, well, I record so early that everyone in my house should be asleep, and plus, people are gonna think I'm fucking crazy if I start screaming like a madman. So, yeah. Sorry for not finishing the fic, and I'm gonna have to leave it here. Go check out the link to the fic will be in the description, as well as to the writer's page, and expect the first few chapters of Magikarp is the best Pokemon about tomorrow, because I've been procrastinating like a motherfucker, and I needed to get this video out now, so I'm gonna put my production into overdrive. Alright, see you guys.